Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to round 3 of the Illinois State Championship. This will be the first round that we were able to record from this tournament. We'll have every round from here on out, including the top 16 through the finals. So we got plenty of action here for you guys. And we're getting started off with Andrew Reynolds on the left, a player from the Wisconsin area. We've featured him a couple times on stream already, a very solid player. Going up against Jared DeMeester. I have to admit, I have not seen Jared play before. I'm not too sure where he's from, or I really don't have any information on him at all. So we'll see what happens here, and maybe he'll give us a surprise as he does mulligan and reveal that he's playing some sort of Darkrai deck. That's at least what I assume when I see all those Dark Energy. So Andrew, I'm not sure what he's playing. Throughout the year, he's been playing kind of a big basic deck with Landorus, Tornadus, and Mewtwo. We'll see if he switched it up or not. Yeah, I don't know. This was a big tournament with about 130 players in Masters, a 2-day tournament with some of the best players in the world here. We had Jason Kozinski, 2-time world champion, Ross Coffin, 2-time world's finalist, in addition to several other world's competitors and plenty of other great players in their own right. Now we will get a basic here from Jared, so we'll get all started. Andrew will start off with a 1-card advantage. Since Jared did mulligan, he gets an extra card. And we'll see who goes first. Looks like Jared will be going first, and that's a huge advantage. He'll be able to do everything first. There are no drawbacks to going first, so you always love winning that opening flip. No real downside to it. Now, assuming that Andrew is playing that Landorus Tornadus deck still, it's going to be weird matching up against this Darkrai deck, which, of course, Darkrai is weak to fighting. In the past, the Darkrai decks would run Crushing Hammer, but nowadays they switch those out for Hypnotoxic Laser in Burbank City Gym, giving extra damage because of that laser and the Burbank. It allows you to do 30 damage basically for free in between turns. So we'll see if that makes an impact in this matchup. Then again, Andrew could play those as well. So, I don't know. The score could be even. And here we go. We have a Landorus versus a Sableye. And Jared's going to get started off. Let's see what he starts up doing here. So we do have Sableye. Fortunately, that is not weak to fighting. So it only takes 30 from Landorus's Hammerhead. He's going to be favoring Sableye early on to use its attack Junk Hunt. Allows you to get 2 item cards from the discard pile and put them back into your hand for the cost of just 1 Dark Energy, and oh, right away. Turn 1, Burbank City Gym, Hypnotoxic Laser. It's automatically going to poison that Landorus EX, then he's going to flip. And if he gets heads, then it will go to sleep as well. So, wow, strong start there from Jared. And he hasn't even played an energy or done anything yet. Just an item, and we've already got an Asleep and Poison Landorus, one that is going to take 3 damage counters in between turns. That is probably not what Andrew wanted to see there, but it's part of the game. You got to deal with it, and we'll see what else Jared follows us up with. It looks like he does have some other stuff. Looks like he's got a Crushing Hammer in his hand. He can't really play that. There's no energy on Andrew's field. I think he's actually asking Andrew if he can play the Crushing Hammer, even though there are no energy on the field. The answer is no. He may have wanted to get that into the discard pile so that he could Junk Hunt for it after an N. It looks like he almost forgot to play the N, and there we go. There's the N. Both players will shuffle in and draw 6 cards since they both have 6 prizes, and we'll go from there. Looks like Jared may be a bit of a newer player just based on his mannerisms, the fact that he's reading some cards there. I'm not too sure, but he may be a little inexperienced. We'll see what happens, though. Laser is a very strong start, and I got to think Andrew's going to be under a lot of pressure in the early goings. You know, if you miss just 1 turn of not getting rid of that poison, you're in tons of trouble. And, well, I don't know. We'll see. So, does Jared get another basic Pokemon? I mean, it is a worry in this format that you could just not have any basics, and you get your Sableye knocked out on the first turn. That certainly could happen. We see he has a hand full of a lot of items. We have a Dark Patch, a Crushing Hammer, a Max Potion, another crushing hammer, an enhanced hammer, and he's going to junk hunt to get back that laser and just pass. So if Andrew had some combination of cards to knock out that Sableye, this game would be over already, but he doesn't. He does have a switch, though. He forgot to flip to wake up, so he did that. There is the switch into Tornadus and the double colorless already. And a Juniper. If he gets a laser or a plus power, this game is over on the first turn. Let's see, does he get it? And 7. No. Okay. So Jared will survive. Tornadus EX can blow through for 60 since there is a stadium in play. But that's all it's going to do. It's not going to knock out the Sableye. So Jared can breathe in a sigh of relief that he does not lose the game already. But that is still kind of a hard-hitting start there from Andrew. This is kind of what this big basic deck is all about. Early aggression. And oh, there's an enhanced hammer. That's got to be annoying for Andrew. He kind of puts it... That's funny. Last format we had Lost Remover, which would put those energy in the Lost Zone. So he kind of signaled that he was putting it in the Lost Zone. But then it's like, oh, wait, that doesn't happen anymore. Goes to the discard now. Jared does have a max potion. He can heal off that Sableye. And this is actually really, really annoying for Andrew. One of the big weaknesses of that big basic deck from the cities and regionals format, we did see Jared try to dark patch to his active. It can't do that, only to a bench Pokemon. One of the big things about the big basic deck is that it was vulnerable to Crushing Hammer and Sableye, which we do see Jared is playing, and especially Enhanced Hammer. Just discarding the energy because, you can only play one energy per turn and there's no energy acceleration. That's a big problem. And, I mean, if Jared can set up this hammer lock, just keep junk hunting for 2 crushing hammers every turn, or even enhanced hammer, he can just kind of lock Andrew out of the game. He can't really attack if he can't get enough energy into play. And then once you run your opponent out of energy, you just attack and clean up their attackers and win the game. And we do see an Ultra Ball from Jared. He's going to discard an Escape Rope and an Enhanced Hammer. He'll probably go for a Darkrai here. And there we go. He's going to try to get this all set up. He did poison that Tornadus, so he's going to be able to get 30 more passive damage. Kind of great with Sableye that you can just poison and then junk hunt, get back 2 items, and just do 30 damage and get back 2 items. All for the cost of 1 Dark Energy. Pretty sick. Now, we probably will see another junk hunt this turn, I would imagine. You might as well. There's a lot of great items in there you need to get back. Dark Patch, Laser, even the Max Potion, Enhanced Hammer. Those are all great cards. Crushing Hammer as well. He had to discard those with Juniper. So, definitely junk hunt is the right move here. But what 2 items will he take back? That is the question. Take a look through here. I would probably want to take a couple crushing hammers if I were Jared. Just because they are so powerful against this kind of a deck. He's going to take a Dark Patch. And let's see, a crushing hammer as well. That also works. Dark Patch to power up your Darkrai. Put some pressure on your opponent. And at least a crushing hammer to give yourself a shot to discard an energy. Now we're going to be on Andrew's turn. He's already used 1 switch. You got to wonder, does he play more than 1 switch? Or does he play more than 1 switch? Of course he does. Does he play stuff like anything besides switch? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. If you're just limited to 4 switch against a Sableye deck, they could just keep using laser over and over and over and keep getting it back. And you could just be infinitely poisoned. And if you run out of your 4 switches early on without really taking any prizes, you will fall victim to just damage from laser. The poison will add up very quickly, 30 a turn. And you got to wonder, does he play anything like an extra escape rope? Does he play anything like full heal? Maybe dowsing machine to get back the switch? Or maybe even something like Audino, which has that busybody ability, which you can discard the Audino from your hand, remove all special conditions, and then a damage counter. There are plenty of ways to get out of poison. It's just you need to play them, otherwise laser kind of ruins your day. So here we see an attachment to the Darkrai. It gets free retreat from the Dark Cloak. It will retreat to the bench, and then a Dark Patch onto that Darkrai. And now we're going to have to see what does Jared want to do from here. He has a Colress, that's the only supporter in his hand. It's only going to net him 3 cards, so it might not be the greatest supporter in the world. He's going to play a Dark Claw onto the Darkrai. And we'll see, does he put down another Sableye as well? Forgot to discard that supporter from first turn, actually. It was just kind of sitting out there. He's going to put down a Sableye and then use Colress, so he'll get an extra card from that. Draw 4 cards. Not the greatest thing in the world, but he's looking through his deck here. I don't know what he's doing that for. You're actually not allowed to do that on a card like Colress because you're not searching your deck. So Andrew, of course, will shuffle Jared's deck after that thing. Again, Jared is a newer player, so he might not realize what's going on. At least I assume he's a newer player. Seems like he's a little confused on some of the mechanics, things like that. And alright, he's going to draw 4 cards, and those are not 4 good ones. Looks like there is a Bianca. And let's see, we're going to see a Junk Hunt from Jared. See what he gets back here. He's going to get an Ultra Ball. And maybe a Crushing Hammer. There's plenty of stuff he could do. He could do Ultra Ball, Dark Patch. That could work as well. Against this kind of a deck, you might want to do Crushing Hammer. But Laser is good as well. Never going to go wrong with the good old Laser. Alright, so now where does Andrew really go from here? He has that Landorus active with no damage on it. That's a good thing. But he has no energy in play. And that clearly is a bad thing. In a perfect world, he would want to, I think, catch out the Darkrai this turn and play a Laser of his own. I'm not sure if he has the cards to pull that off. But that's exactly what he would want to do. And he's kind of shuffling his hand around. Maybe he doesn't have any options. He might not have any supporters, so he's just going to Hammerhead 30 and 30 to the Darkrai. And not exactly a powerful start after that kind of quick opening. That Enhanced Hammer really slowed him down. The Laser slowed him down. And everything's just kind of coming to a screeching halt here. I don't know if he can withstand this barrage of Lasers and Darkrai. But we'll have to see. We do have another Laser from Jared in his hand, so he can poison that Landorus once again. And this is one of the vulnerabilities of Landorus. It has a 3 retreat cost, so it's very easy for him to get stuck up there with the poison. And then just like that, 30 damage. And then if you get stuck and don't remove the poison, it'll be adding up to 60 going back to your opponent's turn. And then it'll go back to 90 coming back into your turn. And that is just 90 passive damage on your Landorus. And that just means it takes 1 Night Spear to knock it out if you don't move that out of the active spot after it's poisoned. So you can just see the power of Darkrai and Laser. We do see an N from Jared. He actually didn't shuffle his deck before he started drawing. You're supposed to actually shuffle your deck first. Even if you don't have any cards, you are supposed to shuffle. So you can see he's kind of confused on that. That is kind of an ambiguous thing in Pokemon. If you don't have any cards to shuffle into your deck, why would you shuffle your hand into your deck? But that is how Pokemon works. We always assume a hand of 0 is still a hand, so you have to shuffle still. Kind of confusing for newer players. For those of us who've been playing for a long time, it seems like natural at this point. But for newer players, you got to understand that that is honestly kind of a confusing thing. But alright, so we're going to both shuffle in and draw 6 here. Andrew's got to be thanking his lucky stars that Jared would do that, considering he discarded a Bianca and could have just drawn 6 straight up. If he had been kind of paying attention, he would have seen that Andrew really didn't have too great of a hand. He hadn't played any supporters or anything like that. So he could have just played the Bianca for 6 and not given Andrew a new hand. But instead, he decided to play the N. And then Andrew, of course, will now have a fresh hand of 6 and maybe some new life here. But he's going to be taking heavy damage this turn, that's for sure. As Jared can just retreat to Darkrai and Night Spear this turn. Since that Landorus is already poisoned, it's under a lot of pressure. It's going to get hit for 110 from a Night Spear. And then it'll get hit by 30 more from poison. And that thing is just on its deathbed pretty much. And you got to see what will Andrew decide to do to respond to this. Also, the Landorus on the bench will get hit for 30 damage, setting that up for a later Night Spear. And all of a sudden, Jared looks to be in a dominant position in this game. And we're going to see, yep, that Landorus will go up to 140 damage. How is Andrew going to respond to this one? We see a Skyla that could go for any number of cards. Number one, he'll probably want to get rid of that poison if he can. You know, you don't want to be stuck there and just taking it. And there we go, Max Potion. That's a good one as well. That's going to heal off all the damage from the Landorus. Going to make it so you have to discard the fighting, but you will go down to 0 damage. And you'll actually prevent your Landorus from being knocked out next turn, just barely. But that is a great card we've seen in these kind of decks, since you can only you can attack for only 1 energy with just 1 fighting with the Landorus, just 1 double colorless for the Tornadus. We do see Max Potion featured very often, and here's a Hypnotoxic Laser. All of a sudden, these things are kind of swinging around here for Andrew, just like that. Jared will go to sleep from the laser since he got heads, and he will take 30 in between turns from poison. So both of these Pokemon are sick. They're poisoned, and that is just kind of the game in a nutshell right now. So we have a Hammerhead for 60 to the active, plus 30 for the poison, putting that Darkrai up to 120 damage, and the Sableye will take 30 as well. And this is just how strong Landorus is against Darkrai now that Laser is out, that's for sure. Damage adds up very quickly in these games. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. So how will Jared respond to this? You know, his Darkrai stayed asleep. I don't know if he actually flipped to see if he woke up. That could be a problem here. And if he's stuck asleep and can't attack for the turn, that is absolutely devastating. That just means he kind of loses out completely on this Darkrai. Gives up 2 prizes. Andrew will actually take the prize lead, which is strange to see. Gonna see a Laser. He's trying to put the Landorus to sleep, and he flips tails. He might be playing a Juniper and just want to get rid of that Laser anyway. So here's a Juniper for 7. And we'll see where he goes from here. I don't know if he plays any switching cards. Normally, Darkrai decks don't play any switching cards because of Darkrai's Dark Cloak, which gives free retreat. Allows you to retreat freely between people very easily. We do have a Crushing Hammer. That is Tails. Of course, status effects have always been the bane of Darkrai's existence in this format because they don't really run switching cards. And I think they're finally just getting to the Sleep Flip here. And the Darkrai did wake up for the turn. That's pretty big. That will allow Jared to retreat if he wants to and use something else this turn. Avoid that poison damage. He definitely needs to. We do see Darkrai decks nowadays run Keldeo EX to rush in and then take advantage of Dark Cloak to just put a Dark Energy on Keldeo and then retreat freely. Kind of still taking the cheater way out, the lazy way out with not playing switch cards, but taking advantage of Dark Cloak with Keldeo, avoiding status that way. Very few people play actual switch cards in Darkrai decks, just because you want to save space. But we might see those get added to Darkrai decks as the format progresses. So we do see a Night Spear, and both players' Pokemon are so heavily damaged, it's ridiculous. The Landorus has 170 damage on it. The Darkrai has 150 damage on it. And Andrew's going to catch her up the benched Darkrai because there's only 30 hit points left on Jared's other Darkrai. So Hammerhead can hit the active one for 60 now, and then the benched one for a knockout for 30. He's basically just getting extra damage onto the field. It's very smart. And he's going to be able to computer search for a Juniper and get a fresh hand of 7. Computer search, of course, is an A-spec card. Discard 2 cards, search for any card. It's a very versatile card. Very, very good. We do see that as the preferred A-spec card still, since it is just so flexible. It allows you to search for any card. And then we're going to see a Juniper for 7. Now, if you're Andrew here, I'm not sure what you are hoping for. Maybe a switch. You would want some way to get rid of your status, that's for sure. You do want a way to play energy as well. If he played another max potion, that would be great too. I don't know if he does or not, though. And he's going to energy search for a fighting energy. We'll see where this gets attached. He does have a lot of heavy damage on his field. There's 60 on that bench Landorus, 30 on the bench Tornadus, 170 on the active Landorus, which will get knocked out from poison after this turn, actually. And yeah, it is just an ugly situation for him here. He does have a Terrakion with a fighting. We'll see what he does. He's going to Hammerhead, I'm sure, and take the knockout on that bench Darkrai. And then his Landorus just gets knocked out, which is kind of funny. So, I don't know who comes out ahead on this exchange. It honestly might be Jared with the Landorus going down, and then he gets a free shot at the next Pokemon. He can just Night Spear for the knockout, and we see that sweet binder come in. Not sure what's going on there. Alright, so I think Andrew's just trying to figure out what the best thing is for him to do here. He does have an escape rope, but if he plays that, it's kind of a wasted catcher. He may be regretting playing that catcher. If that Darkrai were still poisoned and active, he could have played that energy switch, just moved the fighting to Terrakion, and just passed, and then both players' Pokemon would have been knocked out. But he would have had a Terrakion with 2 fighting on it then. So he's just kind of contemplating whether or not he should keep his Landorus active to be knocked out for free. And he is deciding, no, I am just going to escape rope here. And now Jared has to decide which Pokemon he wants to promote. And he's going to put up a Sableye with the Dark Claw. That one has no energy on it, actually. I guess from his point of view, he just does not want his active to be knocked out. Now, this is kind of a smart move by Andrew. Sure, he's going to get that Landorus just knocked off by Night Spear at some point, but he can energy switch to the Landorus without all 170 damage on it. And then he can still Hammerhead for 30, and then 30 to the Darkrai on the bench, knocking that out. That will add up to 180 damage. So he still gets his 2 prizes, and he doesn't give up the 2 prizes just sitting there. It seems like a lot of resources to go through, but probably worth it not to give up those 2 prizes there. Another thing it did was force Jared to have some more cards here to attack this turn. He promoted the Sableye with no energy on it so that he wouldn't give up an extra prize. So now he's going to need like an energy and a dark patch, or an energy and an energy switch. He needs to attach to the active to retreat, and then he needs one to attack with Darkrai, since it takes 3 to attack with Night Spear. So he's going to have another card here to pull off an attack this turn. But if he can, he has a Laser, which will finish off that Landorus, the active one. He'll be able to Night Spear for, let's see, 90 plus 30 for the Laser, and then knock out the bench Landorus as well. Of course, if he does that, he does walk in to that Terrakion retaliating for a whopping 180 due to weakness. He does have the Eviolite, though, so that will reduce 20 and make it more difficult for him to get the knockout on the Darkrai. But he is walking into that. But the 4 prize turn surely is tempting there. Cannot fault Jared for wanting to take advantage of the 4 prize turn. It's just too hard to pass up. But in this situation, it might be worth it to not take out that bench Landorus. It's really a tough situation knowing that Andrew plays max potions. Would you want to leave that Landorus with 170 sitting there at the cost of, not getting retaliated from Terrakion? And I don't know, that's a tough choice. You might just have to take that risk because you don't really have a Darkrai beyond this one. But we'll see what Jared decides to do here. Now, if he were to just Night Spear somewhere else, okay, it looks like there was 90 on that Landorus already. So, never mind, he couldn't avoid it, and I'm stupid. Never mind. It's hard to see with Andrew's dice. They're 20-siders. I thought there was only 60 on the Landorus EX. So, here comes Terrakion, who has always been the bane of Darkrai's existence. We have a laser that's going to poison that Darkrai. It's going to say, you know what, I don't care if you have Eviolite. I'm still going to knock you out. And then he's going to retaliate, which does 180 minus 20 for the Eviolite. And then 30 from the poison. Since Jared did knock out a Pokemon last turn, retaliate does 60 more. 30 plus 60 times 2 for the weakness. You know, he did knock out 2 Pokemon and take 4 prizes, so in my eyes, that retaliate should do about 180 base damage times 2, just to stick it to Darkrai. But now Andrew's down to 2 prizes. The game is all tied up. The difference is that Jared has no energy on a fresh Darkrai. So he's really going to struggle here to take down this Terrakion, that is for sure. But we do see a Scramble Switch in his hand. That could be a huge, huge turn of events if he has a Dark Patch. Then he could, Dark Patch onto the Darkrai, Scramble Switch into the Darkrai, and fully power up this new one. That is the way to just be like, alright, I can just get a Night Spear out of nowhere. And then if he has a Laser and a Dark Claw, he can knock out this Terrakion and leave Andrew in a horrible spot. So there's the Laser. We'll see what the flip is. This could be huge. Tails, alright. The Terrakion does not stay asleep. And where do we go from here? Can Jared pull off a Night Spear this turn? Does he even want to, though? I mean, he may just want to leave a Sableye up there because he doesn't want to get his Darkrai land crushed. I mean, who wants to get their Darkrai land crushed? I sure don't. Terrakion, has always been that one big fighting Pokemon to keep Darkrai in check. Darkrai is weak to fighting, and if he gets too aggressive, just knocks out things too quickly. Terrakion is right there to say, nope, I'm going to retaliate, take you down in one hit, and then if you don't deal with me immediately, I'm going to attach one more energy and Land Crush, and take 4 straight prizes on Darkrai's. This is the most dangerous threat to Darkrai in the format for sure. Just that one big bad Terrakion can do all the work. So now, Jared is on the back foot. He did lose a fully powered Darkrai in one hit there. It seemed like that thing would be safe, but nope, not with Terrakion lurking around the corner, that's for sure. We do see a Scramble Switch. Let's see what he switches into. Looks like he's going to go into his Darkrai, but that only has 2 energy here. This is kind of a risky play, that's for sure. I don't know where he's going with this one. Now we see he actually has a Tornadus in his hand, and he does not play it down. He's going to Chorus for 4. That Tornadus actually could have saved him some time there. It does resist fighting. It's actually pretty good against Terrakion. We don't see the normal Tornadus very often anymore. Maybe he's playing that as a counter to Kling Klang, but it would have helped him out a lot here. Here's a Chorus for 4 cards. Not sure what he's actually hoping for. Oh, that Crushing Hammer could be the difference maker if he gets a heads on that. That could change everything. So here is a Crushing Hammer. This flip could decide the game, folks. And it's a Tails. Oh, man. Imagine if he would have discarded that energy from that Terrakion, prevented it from land crushing. He might have just saved the game for himself, but Tails, the card does nothing, and now we are just 1 energy away from Andrew land crushing that Darkrai for the win. We'll see if he can pull that off here. And what will Jerry do? He could retreat since he did Scramble Switch. He did not take up his retreat for the turn, so he could just retreat to his Sableye and pass. No reason to really keep your Darkrai up there and then just kind of lose to an energy. There's no reason to do that. So we'll see. Yep, he will retreat. He's going to intelligently promote the Sableye with 60 damage on it, since you don't want to put the 31 up there. Might as well put the one that's about to die up there. And alright, he's going to pass, and now does Andrew have the necessary cards to win the game? There is a double Colossus, and there is a Pokemon catcher. He's going to bring out that Darkrai, and then Land Crush, and that will be the game. Andrew Reynolds will move on to 4-0 here at the Illinois State Championship. And a very close match. Could have gone either way. That Crushing Hammer very well could have decided the game. But in the end, Andrew squeaks out a win there, and he will move on at this tournament. So thank you guys for watching. I am Pooka here from the Top Cut. We'll have more coverage here from the Illinois State Championship coming up very shortly. Yep, thanks again for watching. See you guys next time.